You know that feeling, right? That little pause, that moment you're standing next to someone, maybe at a work thing or, a family gathering you haven't been to forever.
Or even just waiting for coffee.
Exactly. And your mind just goes blank for a second thinking, okay, what do I say? How do I start this? It's that initial awkward silence.
It really is. It's this universal thing. We want to connect, but that first step, actually starting the conversation, can feel, well, surprisingly tricky, like facing a blank page.
And that's exactly why today we're doing a deep dive into something people often brush off, but it's actually incredibly powerful. The art of small talk.
Yeah, the subtle art.
We're using this really interesting collection as our guide. It's got 100 small talk sentences designed to help you speak naturally and start any conversation.
And the key thing here, as you hinted, isn't just memorizing lines. That would feel, well, pretty robotic, wouldn't it?
Totally unnatural.
Right. So our mission today is to dig deeper. We want to unpack why these kinds of sentences actually work. How do they function in, real life, messy conversations?
And what surprising things do they tell us about human connection?
Exactly. We'll look at different types of phrases, the categories they fall into, and maybe most importantly, how simple daily practice can genuinely boost your confidence. It's about making it a habit, not just a theory.
So if you've ever felt that little knot of anxiety in social situations, or maybe just wished you had a better way to feel more confident in those casual chats with a new colleague, someone you meet out and about, this deep dive is definitely for you.
Get ready to discover some of the quiet genius behind everyday conversation starters. It's a skill that really opens doors.
Okay, let's jump right in. The underestimated art of small talk. People often dismiss it, right? Like it's just filler, just noise before the real conversation starts.
Superficial fluff.
But the material we've been looking at argues something different. It suggests small talk is actually foundational. It's like the primer coat for connection.
That's a really crucial way to frame it. This collection doesn't just see small talk as filler. It calls it a strategic social tool. It gives you real phrases you can use to start a conversation, keep it going, and sound natural.
So it's intentional, not just random chat.
Precisely. It serves a purpose. Think of it like a conversational handshake. It signals you're open, you're ready to engage.
So it's not just the words, but what the words do. And the core function, according to this source, is simply getting things started. It provides simple ways to begin a conversation, breaking the ice.
Yeah, making that first contact. How many times have potentially good conversations just fizzled out before they even began because that first step felt too awkward?
Too many to count, probably.
And it's useful everywhere. The source highlights this useful for casual chats at work, school, or while traveling, and it stresses it's especially useful when meeting someone for the first time.
A universal social lubricant, you could say.
That's a great term for it. It's like the oil that makes the social gears turn smoothly. Without it, things can grind to a halt pretty fast. You're trying to start a fire with damp wood otherwise.
Okay, I like that analogy.
Yeah.
Let's dig into that function more. How does something like, commenting on the line we're standing in actually reduce that social friction or awkwardness?
Well, it acts as a kind of psychological buffer. Imagine walking into a room full of people you don't know, or maybe even people you do know but haven't seen in ages. There's often this slight, unspoken tension.
Yeah, you feel it.
Small talk eases you into the interaction with a low-stakes entry point. Exchanging simple, non-threatening comments creates a little zone of comfort and safety. It's like saying, hey, I'm friendly. I'm not going to immediately ask for your deepest secrets.
Right. It lowers the anxiety for everyone involved.
Exactly. It makes the whole environment feel more relaxed, more open to maybe having a more substantial conversation later. It's a gentle ramp, not a steep cliff.
So establishing comfort first. But how does that superficial stuff, like nice weather we're having, actually build rapport or trust? It seems like such a small thing.
It is small, but it's the foundation. In isolation, nice weather doesn't build a deep bond, no, but it signals openness. When someone responds positively, even just with a nod or a yes it is, they're offering a tiny confirmation. I'm open too.
Micro-affirmation.
Yes. And these little positive back and forth, these brief shared moments, they start to build rapport incrementally. It's like laying down tiny bricks. You establish a rhythm, a mutual understanding that you're both willing participants. It's the quiet groundwork for trust.
Okay, I'm starting to see it. It's the cumulative effect. And this collection we're looking at, these 100 small talk sentences, it keeps mentioning sounding natural. What does that really involve? It's clearly more than just grammar.
Oh, much more. Sounding natural is about the whole package. It's your intonation, the rhythm of your speech, the timing, knowing when to speak, when to pause, and crucially, it's about cultural appropriateness, understanding the unspoken rules.
You can see the right words in the wrong way.
Absolutely. A grammatically perfect sentence can still sound awkward if the tone is flat or the timing is off. These structured phrases, like the ones in our source, help you practice the whole thing. You internalize the common cues, the flow. You build conversational muscle memory.
Okay, so bringing this back to you, the listener, why should you bother mastering this seemingly small skill?
Because it's honestly like a social superpower. Think about networking. Small talk is the absolute gateway. In personal life, it's how relationships start, how friendships form.
And just daily life, right?
Well, in daily life, it makes navigating everything smoother, more confident. When you're comfortable with these small exchanges, you're not just being polite, you're opening doors. You seem approachable, competent. It's an invisible key, really.
That really lands. Okay, let's get practical. Let's unpack some of these specific phrases from this collection of 100 small talk sentences. Time for opening the door, strategic sentences for initiating interaction.
The first step?
Our source calls these simple ways to begin a conversation. Low risk, high reward invitations to engage.
Exactly. They're like little feelers you put out. Easy to respond to, which is vital for reducing that initial anxiety. The other person can give a short reply or jump in more, depending on how they feel.
Let's start with a total classic. How's it going? So simple, so common. Why does it work so well?
It's brilliant in its simplicity, isn't it? It's open-ended. You can elaborate if you want. Busy week. But you don't have to. A simple, good thanks you works perfectly.
Low pressure.
Very low pressure. It asks about general well-being. It's informal, relaxed, and it's less intrusive than asking something really specific right off the bat. It perfectly gauges interest without demanding it. The ultimate gentle opener.
That makes total sense. Okay, what about this one? What's new with you?
It feels a bit more direct, like it's asking for an update.
It is slightly more direct, but it still gives the other person complete control. They get to choose what new thing they share, if anything. It shows you have a polite interest in their recent life without being nosy. Like you're genuinely curious about what they might want to share.
Exactly. It's a great way to see if there's something interesting bubbling up for them, a natural conversation starter just waiting. You hand them the reins for a moment.
And the Monday morning special, or Tuesday maybe. How was your weekend?
Oh yeah, super contextual, perfect for catching up after the weekend break. Its power is tapping into that shared rhythm of work and leisure.
Everyone has a weekend, or some equivalent.
Right. So it naturally opens up talk about hobbies, family, activities, even just relaxing. It's a smooth bridge into lots of other potential small talk topics, a reliable go-to.
Then there's the one you pull out when you have absolutely nothing else in common or you're just standing next to a stranger. It's a beautiful day, isn't it? The weather opener.
A classic for good reason, that little, isn't it? At the end, the tag question is key. It subtly invites agreement.
Makes it easy to respond.
Super easy. And it's neutral, universal.
Yeah.
Everyone experiences the weather. With a stranger, it instantly creates common ground without any risk. You're just observing a shared reality. It's like a nonverbal nod, but with words.
A mental handshake, like you said earlier.
Exactly.
Okay, last opener example. The situational one. Have you been here before?
Perfect for shared environments. A conference, a cafe, maybe a museum, a party at someone's house you've never been to.
Anywhere, you're both there.
Right. It immediately establishes that shared context. It can lead to talk about the place itself, why you're both there, previous experiences, a very natural way to find a common thread based on your immediate surroundings.
So for you listening, the takeaway isn't just to memorize one phrase, is it? It's about choosing the right tool for the job.
Absolutely. It's about having this toolkit of openers and then being observant. Who are you talking to? Where are you? What's the vibe?
Read the room.
Read the room. Colleague on Monday. How was your weekend? Stranger at a gallery. Been here before? Sunny day cue. Beautiful day, isn't it? The skill is in that quick assessment and adaptation. Practice makes it instinctive.
Speaking of universal topics, let's really dig into the weather. We touched on it, but why is commenting on sunshine or rain such conversational gold? Our source calls it the most popular small talk topic.
It truly is the ultimate common denominator. It's always there, always changing, affects everyone. Its power lies in its social utility.
So beyond the obvious fact that it's well there. What are the deeper reasons it works so well?
Okay, three big ones. First, neutrality. It's almost impossible to offend someone by talking about the weather. No politics, no religion, no controversy. It's safe territory.
A guaranteed safe zone.
Second, universality. Everyone, everywhere deals with weather. Instant shared reality. Doesn't matter who you are or where you're from.
Common ground baked right in.
And third, constant change. It's never static. There's always something new, hotter, colder, wetter, windier. This means there's always fresh material. It doesn't get stale. The conversational gift that keeps on giving, as they say.
That's a great summary. Mundane yet profound. Okay, let's look at specific weather lines from the 100 sentences list. A really simple one. It's really sunny today.
Just a straightforward, positive observation. It invites a simple agreement, maybe a shared smile. Yes, lovely, isn't it? Super low effort to respond to. An easy entry point.
What about, looks like it might rain later? That's looking ahead.
Yeah, it introduces that future element. It can prompt talk about plans. Oh no, I was going to have a picnic. Or good, the garden needs it. It nudges the chat beyond just now to a potential shared scenario.
And sometimes you just need to connect over a shared complaint, right? It's been so cold lately.
Absolutely. This allows for that mild expression of feeling, fostering empathy. Tell me about it, my heating bill. It creates instant camaraderie over a minor shared discomfort, a very human connection point.
Then there's expressing a personal preference. I love this cool breeze.
This one's slightly more personal. You're sharing your feeling about it. It invites the other person to share theirs too. Agree, disagree gently, elaborate. Oh, I find it a bit chilly, actually. It opens a little window into personal comfort levels.
Okay, and a broader one. The weather's been strange this week.
This is great because it's general enough for easy agreement, but specific enough to invite examples.
Yeah, totally. Snow one day, sunshine the next. It moves from a general statement to potentially sharing little anecdotes.
So connecting this back, talking about the weather isn't really about the weather.
Not fundamentally, no. It's a low-stakes practice ground for conversation itself. Turn-taking, shared observation, finding agreement. It sets a comfortable rhythm.
Like conversational training wheels.
Exactly. It builds your confidence for tougher topics. Mastering weather chat makes you a better communicator overall. It's the unnoticed foundation. Okay, we've covered openers and the power of weather. Now let's move into finding common ground more directly. Our source material guides us into categories that explore people's lives, but, respectfully.
Right. This is where we shift from observing what's around us to gently asking about what's in someone's life, work, school, hobbies, building bridges carefully.
Let's start with work in school. Professional and academic connections.
Yeah.
These are obviously tailored for those kinds of settings.
Yeah, your go-to phrases when that's the main context. They acknowledge the shared environment, making the topic feel relevant right away, functional and effective.
So the big one, especially at networking events, what do you do for a living? What does this really open up?
It's the standard expected question. It establishes professional identity, but it's an invitation to go deeper, talk about career paths, industries, daily tasks, maybe challenges or joys of the job. It's a doorway into a big part of someone's life.
And the common response, or something you might say yourself, I work in marketing.
A clear declarative statement. It gives the other person specific information, letting them ask relevant follow-up questions or share their own field if it connects. Gives them a hook to grab onto.
What about adding a bit more personal flavor? Do you like your job?
This adds that layer of opinion, inviting a more nuanced answer than just the title, mostly, or the people are great, but the commute. It can uncover shared feelings, frustrations, passions, makes the connection more human.
And for students, the equivalent, I'm studying business at university.
Yep. Provides that academic context, opens doors to talk about majors, classes, future plans, campus life, finds common ground within that educational setting.
And one almost everyone can relate to. It's been a busy week at work, or school, presumably.
Oh yeah, super relatable. Invites empathy, shared size, maybe even comparing notes on how busy things are. A low-risk way to bond over that common feeling of being swamped. Creates a sense of, we're in this together.
So for you listening, it's about being ready to both share and ask in these contexts.
Definitely. Be a generous conversationalist. If you ask, listen for those keywords. If you answer, offer a little bit more than just the bare fact, maybe a positive detail or a relatable challenge. These phrases anchor you in that shared professional or academic space.
Okay, let's shift gears slightly. Moving from work and school to be hobbies, and free time. Bridging to personal interests. Our source notes, these are great for meeting people for the first time, getting a sense of their personality outside of obligations.
This is a fantastic category. It moves into passions, what excites people. Still safe territory, usually, because hobbies are chosen interests. This is where you might find those real sparks of connection.
So the broad opener here, what do you do for fun?
Love this one. So open-ended. It lets the other person share whatever they feel comfortable with, whatever passions come to mind. You're inviting them to show you a bit of their authentic self beyond the job title. An invitation to talk about joy.
And a specific example many can relate to. I love watching movies.
Straightforward declaration. Immediately invites talk about genres, favorites, recent watches. Oh, me too. Seen anything good lately? Creates an instant channel for shared enthusiasm if they happen to share that interest.
Or maybe finding out about activity levels. Do you play any sports?
A direct question, good for finding shared athletic interests, playing or watching. Even if they don't play, they might follow a team. Quick way to check for a common passion in that area.
And one for us curious types. I've been reading a great book lately.
Oh, a fantastic starter for fellow readers. Signals intellectual curiosity, can lead to recommendations, talking about authors, themes, shows a more thoughtful side, and invites a similar response. Potentially rich discussion territory.
And a common weekend pastime. I enjoy cooking on the weekends.
Offers a nice window into their personal life. Can lead to talk about recipes, food, culture, weekend routines. Very relatable, can uncover shared culinary adventures or misadventures, creates a human, often fun, connection.
So the big takeaway here is these phrases help you gently transition from general stuff to more personal interests, finding those shared passions without being invasive.
Precisely. They're designed to help you discover those points of connection. And finding shared enthusiasm is what really deepens rapport, moving beyond just acquaintance towards something more genuine. It's where small talk starts to feel less small.
Okay, great stuff. So you've started the chat, maybe you found some common interests. How do you keep the momentum going? Avoid that awkward silence descending again. This next bit is key. Fanning the flames. Phrases for sustaining engagement.
This is all about active listening and showing genuine curiosity. These aren't just questions, they're tools to show you're really engaged. They turn a potential monologue into a real dialogue.
You're signaling, I'm listening, tell me more.
Exactly, you're empowering the other person.
Let's look at some examples from the source. This first one is so useful. That's interesting, tell me more.
It's incredibly powerful because it does two things at once. It affirms what they said, that's interesting, validating them, and then it explicitly invites more, tell me more, shows genuine curiosity, and opens the door wide for them to elaborate on whatever they choose.
Makes them feel heard and valued.
Totally. It's a green light to continue.
Okay, next. Building on something specific they mentioned, maybe an activity. How long you've been doing that?
This focuses on the time aspect. It often leads to richer stories, how they started, challenges, how their passion grew. If someone mentions, say, pottery, asking this can unlock their whole journey with it. Shows you're interested in their experience over time, not just the snapshot.
A simple but effective one for showing you're learning. Wow, I didn't know that.
Deceptively simple, hugely effective. It validates their knowledge, shows you're genuinely learning from them. It makes them feel like a valuable source of information, which encourages them to keep sharing, creates a really positive feedback loop. They feel like the expert, you feel like you're learning.
This next one digs a bit deeper into the why. What made you decide to try it?
Yes. This moves beyond what they do to why they do it. The motivation, the origin story, this is often where the really engaging personal anecdotes come out. It encourages a more reflective, maybe even intimate response, turns facts into narrative, uncovers the driving force.
And finally, a very clear signal of interest. I'd love to hear more about that.
Wonderfully polite and direct, leaves no doubt you're interested. Empowers them to keep going without worrying they're boring you or talking too much. It's like saying, please continue, I'm genuinely captivated. The verbal equivalent of leaning in.
So for you listening, these phrases are your toolkit for going deeper. It's about using them to show real curiosity.
Absolutely. It's about being present. Don't just wait for your turn. Listen for those opportunities. Someone mentions a trip. Don't just say nice. Ask, oh, what made you choose that place? Or why? Tell me more. It makes you an active, memorable conversationalist. Your secret weapon for depth.
Okay, we've covered starting, sustaining, but ending is just as important, isn't it? Avoiding that awkward shuffle or abrupt cutoff. Our final section, graceful exits, concluding conversations with finesse. The source has friendly ways to end a conversation.
A smooth exit is crucial. It maintains the rapport you've built and keeps the door open for next time. A clumsy ending can sour the whole interaction. You want to leave them feeling good about the chat, the conversational smooth landing.
Let's look at some closing lines. The standard, polite classic. It was nice talking with you.
Can't go wrong with this one. Simple, universally understood, summarizes the interaction positively and signals its ending. Leaves a pleasant feeling. Good for almost any casual chat. Like a polite nod and smile in word form.
Building on that, if you want to signal future interest. I hope we can chat again soon.
This looks forward. It says, I valued this enough to want to do it again. Good when you genuinely expect or hope to see them again, maybe at work or another social event. A warm invitation to reconnect.
What about when you physically need to leave? I've got to run, but let's keep in touch.
This is great. It gives a polite reason for leaving got to run so they don't feel dismissed. But the crucial bit is, let's keep in touch. It softens the exit, showing it's about your schedule, not them. Maintains the connection while you depart. Very considerate.
A general pleasantry, good for almost any situation. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Simple, warm, universally appropriate. Doesn't imply a future meeting, just wishes them well right now. Safe, friendly, always well received. Perfect for brief encounters where you might not see them again soon. Leaves a positive vibe.
And a slightly warmer one for people you expect to see. Take care and see you soon.
Combines that caring sentiment, take care, with the expectation of seeing them again. See you soon. Great for colleagues, classmates, friends you bump into regularly. Reinforces the ongoing connection. Friendly and warm.
So for the listener, using these is about being intentional, making sure the end feels as good as the beginning.
Exactly. Don't just let it fizzle out. Have these ready. When there's a natural pause or you need to move on, use one. It shows confidence and consideration. Leaves the other person feeling the whole interaction was positive and complete. The final polish.
We have covered so much ground: initiating, sustaining, exiting. We've seen how this collection of 100 small talk sentences offers a really practical framework. But knowing it isn't enough.
Right.
It comes down to practice. Our final section, the practice principle. How simple daily engagement builds strong confidence.
Absolutely critical. The source even mentions a specific technique, shadowing repeating sentences right after hearing them. It's about active internalization, not just passive knowledge.
Right. Because knowing about small talk and actually doing it naturally in a real conversation are two very different things. So why does practice, like shadowing, actually work to make it feel natural?
It helps make the phrases automatic. It moves them from conscious effort, okay, what should I say now, to something more intuitive. You're building subconscious fluency. The right phrase comes to mind more easily without that internal scramble. You're essentially hardwiring your brain for conversation.
Like building conversational muscle memory.
Precisely, just like a musician practices scales or an athlete drills moves. Your brain needs to rehearse these patterns. Simple, daily practice reinforces the neural pathways, making them stronger and faster. You're training your conversational reflexes.
And how does that daily repetition translate directly into feeling more confident socially? Because that's the goal for many people, that feeling of ease.
It cuts down anxiety massively. A lot of social anxiety comes from that fear of not knowing what to say or saying the wrong thing. Practice increases your preparedness. When you know you have these tools ready in your mind, you feel much better equipped.
Takes the uncertainty away.
Exactly. Less uncertainty equals less anxiety equals more confidence. You stop focusing on your own internal panic and can actually focus on the other person, on connecting. It frees you up.
So for you listening, what are some practical, easy ways to integrate this daily practice? It doesn't need to be hours, right?
Not at all. Think small, consistent efforts. 5 minutes of shadowing while you make coffee, mentally rehearsing an opener before you walk into the grocery store. Just consciously trying to use one new phrase in a casual chat each day.
Little and often.
Little and often is key. Every bit of practice reinforces the skill. It's the compound interest of social fluency. Over time, you become more confident, more engaging, more naturally conversational.
Well, there we have it. We've really taken a deep dive into the world of small talk, unpacking the purpose and power behind these 100 small talk sentences. We've seen it's a framework for initiating, sustaining, and ending conversations with confidence and grace.
And let's not forget that core message from the source, which applies way beyond just talking. Simple daily practice builds strong confidence. It reminds us that mastery, especially in something as complex as human interaction, comes from consistent, deliberate, often small daily efforts. That cumulative effect is transformative.
So as we wrap up, let's leave you with a final thought to chew on. Small talk, often seen as superficial, is actually the bedrock for connection. Think about it. Fleeting chats that brighten your day, the start of great friendships, crucial work relationships, they often begin with these seemingly small interactions.
Those tiny conversational sparks.
Exactly. So if mastering these small interactions can open doors to big opportunities and deeper relationships, consider this. What seemingly small skill in your own life could you commit to practicing daily with that quiet consistency to unlock your own big breakthroughs? What small effort might lead to your next great leap?